You ever wonder what it feels like for Two-Face to get punched in the face? Specifically the fucked up face? Like would it hurt way worse than it would a normal person, or would he just not fucking feel it at all? Because some of his designs make it like a warty, bloated mass of a face. Like the acid didn't burn part of his face off, it just disfigured the fuck out of it. Changed his skin color, added warts, bloated certain parts, that sort of thing. Like, if it's that version of Two-Face, I'm not particularly sure. But for the version of Two-Face that side of his face was like burned off, like when that side of his face looks like Deadpool got curb stomped into the sun by the Human Torch while chewing on a firecracker, would he even fucking feel it? Would the nerves be burnt off, or would it hurt way fucking worse because he has no skin? I saw Two-Face get punched in the face on the Harley Quinn show, and it hasn't left my mind in days. Discuss amongst yourself in the comments. I'm gonna go back to staring into the middle distance. Okay, so my video that I made the other day on the Nightwing Green Lantern debate was tweeted out by Nicola Scott. And if you don't know who Nicola Scott is, they're the amazing human being that made this beautiful piece of art. So, I'm just saying, I win. I win this argument. I win. That's all. You can go about your day now. This feud is over. These two Christmas hams wrapped in latex won. I'm just saying.
Because Captain America has been like this, as has most everyone who's ever worked.
If you haven't already, go back and watch Moose's video about people on Twitter being mad at Marvel for making Captain America question the American dream in the first issue of United States of Captain America. 'Cause yeah, dude's got a fucking point. I think people kind of forget what Captain America was made to be. Most people don't seem to remember the fact that Captain America was made in opposition to America's own decisions. When the first issue of Captain America was published, America was still saying that they wanted to remain neutral in World War II, and the cover was Cap punching Hitler in the face! Cap questioning what America stands for is Captain America! That's like his whole fucking point! Don't get mad at the writers for making Captain America question the American dream. Question why he has to. Also, the fake woke, it's Captain America, it's inherently political, come on! You wanna know something that I find hilarious that Hollywood consistently does with comic books? To varying degrees of success? Taking the name and visuals of a pre-established superhero property and then throwing literally everything else out the window. Like, remember when they made a Steel movie where Superman didn't exist and they gave him, like, a tech team? Oh yeah, and they made it starring Shaq! Or even more recently, Venom, sans Spider-Man. Joker, with a different look. And no Batman. And he's an incel. But the one that I think shamelessly does it the absolute worst? Jonah motherfucking Hex. Starring Thanos, April O'Neil, Young Magneto, Lego Batman, and John Malkovich. Bet you forgot about this shit, didn't you? Jonah Hex in this movie can revive people from the dead to talk with them. Jonah Hex cannot do that. Jonah sports a bunch of steampunk-esque weaponry. Also not a thing. I saw a clip of this the other day and it just sent me down a rabbit hole. What's your favorite comic movie that's basically an original story?
What is your Marvel unpopular opinion?
Yeah, okay, let's do this. Peter Parker fundamentally works better as a struggling young adult than he does as a teenager in high school, and the fact that the movies keep making him a teenager in high school is overall damaging to the public perception of the character as a whole. The Captain America Hail Hydra thing wasn't that big of a fucking deal. The story not only almost immediately showed that it was just the Red Skull fucking with time, but also that's not the first time that a at-the-time canon Captain America has been shown to be a terrible fucking person. US agent? Commie smasher? That time that Cap and Bucky's replacements were shown to be KKK members? I don't know why, but Wolverine should be ugly as sin. Just a small, hairy, muscular mess of a man. Sue Storm has terrible taste in men. Reed Richards is at best a sociopath. Dr. Doom is literally a fucking dictator, and the Submariner is at best an anti-villain. Bouncing off of that, Jean Grey could do better than both Scott Summers and Logan. Girl, go get you an emotionally stable throuple at least. I mean, shit, you're like one of 6 known redheads in the Marvel Universe and can control shit with your mind. There should be at least one story where Galactus wins. That way he can finally get out of his role as the Vegeta of the Marvel Universe. The guy who gets his ass kicked to show that the bad guy means business. We should just collectively agree to, like, shelve Thanos just for a moment. Just so honestly another lesser known villain who doesn't honestly deserve it be the highest level of power that somebody can defeat. I don't care what anybody says, Peter Parker is Jewish. Check out our Rabbi comic sheet. I think, if I remember correctly, has a whole series about how he's been coded like that for decades. Also, she's just great and has a lot of amazing insights. Go follow her, please. Hank Pym is a villain. Just flat out bad guy. Stop. I know what you're gonna say. I know the original incident was an accident and it wasn't supposed to be drawn that way in the first place, but also, that's not the worst thing he's ever done. Most of the things he does are really shitty and selfish, so honestly, I think he is a fucking bad guy. And finally, both X-Force and the Thunderbolts were at their peak when Deadpool was on the team. And weirdly, when the only color that both teams used was red. Whew. I had a lot more in me than I thought I did. This was long as shit, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm out thrifting right now, and I need to show you guys this. So I was doing what I usually do when I was looking through the book section. Just looking for any passed over gems of comic books, you know, that sort of thing. When I found this little beauty, the Superman Handbook by Scott Beatty. Now I would assume this would be filled with, I don't know, impressive feats of Superman, interesting facts about him, interesting stories, that sort of thing. No, it's not filled with that. Lesson 1, how to knock out a villain. These are like legit step-by-step instructions on how to kick the living shit out of someone. And I quote, while most assume that a straight-on shot to the face is more staggering, a shot to the side of the head strains blood vessels and nerve endings. When you make his head spin with that right cross, increased rotational forces stretch the vessels and endings, causing your opponent to lose consciousness. This is the 5th page after the introduction. Lesson 2 is how to kick in a door. For fuck's sake. Lesson 4 is legit just bondage. You know, for kids. Actually, yeah, modern kids probably need to know how to do that, actually. What is this book? Oh, I'm fucking coming for you. Spoilers for Loki, a little bit. Hey, nerds, are we okay? I really liked Loki. I liked the show. I thought it was really good. But I have one thing. Can we stop letting, like, half incest get into our superhero media, please? We have whatever the fuck the relationship between Loki and Sylvie was in the show. We have the flip-floppy relationship between Wanda and Pietro in, like, most Marvel media. I've been watching Umbrella Academy in between airings of Loki, so there's whatever the fuck is going on there, both in the show and the comics. We have Iris in the Flash from the Flash show, which doesn't even have the excuse of originating in the comics. Like, at best, this is a really fucking weird coincidence that just keeps fucking happening. Also, why is it always written as mentally traumatized people that engage in this weird fucking shit? I mean, it's not like having neurotypical people act like they're from Alabama would be any better, but what the fuck? And for people saying that the Loki Sylvie thing doesn't count, they share a father, a stepfather, a mother, a brother, and a childhood. That fucking counts. Well, on the same page? Okay, cool. Okay, let's get into this, shall we? Would you rather work for Lex Luthor or the Lex Luthor! By like a fucking mile! Yes, working for Lex Luthor is basically like being an Amazon employee that makes weapons of mass destruction, which is bad. Lex is like Donald Trump mixed with Mark Zuckerberg mixed with Jeffrey fucking Bezos. It's not a great mix. He does not treat his henchmen well. Their lives still suck and they are probably monitored on how long they take piss breaks for. But let's analyze what working for Lex Luthor is like versus the fucking Joker. With Lex, you probably get a dental plan, a health plan, a paycheck, and the guy that you're fighting really cares about human life. Superman will hit you just long enough to knock you out so you're not a threat so we can stop the problem. If you work for the Joker, your payment is you're not fucking dead. You say one wrong thing. Bang. You don't laugh at his jokes. Bang. You do laugh at his jokes. Bang. You think Joker gives a fuck about a henchman? Who's Lex Luthor's right-hand man? It's a woman. You sexist. Her name is Mercy. She's awesome. Who's Joker's right-hand man? Bob? Nah, he's dead. Harley? Tried to kill her multiple times. Slappy? Who the fuck is Slappy? The best case scenario working for the Joker is that you fight the fucking Batman! And that presents its own fucking list of problems. If you stop Superman as a Lex Luthor henchman, Lex will be pissed, but he'll be at least happy that Superman was caught. If you stop Batman as a Joker henchman, you better have a fucking coffin picked out yesterday. This isn't a fun hypothetical question. This is a screening technique that the doctors at Arkham use to determine your mental health. There is a right and a wrong answer to this question, and the correct one is Lex fucking Luthor. Thank you for coming to my fucking TED Talk. Have a nice day. Okay, so I was flipping through TikTok, and one of my followers had posted a video about heroes in crisis and the character, the Protector. If that was you, please, I beg you, tag yourself. The fucking TikTok crashed in the middle of me stitching your fucking video and deleted it. And I'm a moron and didn't like it before I fucking did that. With all that out of the way, let's talk about this fucking guy. You probably have no idea who the fuck this is. And I don't blame you. This is the Protector and he only showed up in like 3 issues of Teen Titans back in the 80s. Homeboy has one character trait. Don't do drugs. This man was made for the sole reason of keeping kids off of drugs and only exists because cookies! Okay, now that I say that out loud, that sounds kind of ridiculous. Let's get into it. So back in the 80s, Teen Titans came out with 3 anti-drug specials. These specials were sponsored by Keebler. This sugar-peddling Jeff Sessions-looking motherfucker. All seems fine so far, right? Wrong. You see, the license to the leader of the Teen Titans, you know, Robin, was owned by Nabisco. Nabisco doesn't really have like a mascot or anything, but they're the motherfuckers who make Oreo. So the unbelievably popular superhero that is the leader of your super team has his license owned by a rival company to the company that is sponsoring your anti-drug special. What the fuck do you do? Oh, well, it's actually really easy. You just completely scrap that unbelievably popular character and replace him with the first generic-ass white guy that you can shove into purple spandex and just scream, there is no difference. Listen, the Protector is what happens when you take Dick Grayson Robin, mix him together with the Dare Lion, sprinkle in a little bit of Reagan-era hypocrisy and gentrification, and then add a healthy splash of that one Pee Wee Herman This Is Crack ad, you know, just for flavor. And then after baking that for entirely not long enough, you will come out with this fucking war crime to costume design. Why do I even fucking care about this? This is a Robin clone that was in 3 issues of a Teen Titans comic in the 80s. So let me tell you his origin, because it's just as fucking dumb as you think it is. Basically, Homeboy's little cousin got addicted to drugs. Mind you, they never tell you what kind of drugs. It's just like the platonic ideal of drugs in the 80s. See, Jason didn't like that very much. Oh yeah, by the way, his name is Jason Hart. Get your Dick Grayson replacement's name is Jason jokes out of the way now. Anyway, Jason didn't like that very much, so he concocted a fucking just genius plan. You see, he dressed up as a superhero to inspire his cousin to get off of drugs because his cousin was a fucking nerd. Mind you, he didn't dress up as his favorite superhero, just, you know, a superhero that he made up. Homeboy cosplayed as his own OC to get his cousin to stop taking drugs. Well, did it work? Have you been fucking listening? No, it didn't work. He had to fight all of his cousin's dealers on his own. Until eventually Dick Grayson noticed him and went, this brightly colored douchebag is kicking the shit out of drug dealers. Maybe I should help out. And he also made him an honorary Titans member and taught him how to fight out of what I assume was pity. And that's it. That's the Protector. That's all of it. And then they brought him back for Heroes in Crisis just to say that he was taking just so many drugs. This character is he's so wild. So basically what I'm saying is I want a live-action Protector solo movie by, like, next year. You can cast whatever basic-ass brunette boy with floppy hair that you want for it. I don't give a shit, I just need it. Okay, so I'm out thrifting right now, and I need to show you guys this. So I was doing what I usually do, and I was looking through the book section, just looking for any passed-over gems and comic books, you know, that sort of thing. When I found this little beauty, the Superman Handbook by Scott Beatty. Now, I would assume this would be filled with, I don't know, impressive feats of Superman, interesting facts about him, interesting stories, that sort of thing. No, it's not filled with that. Lesson 1, how to knock out a villain. These are like legit step-by-step instructions on how to kick the living shit out of someone. And I quote, while most assume that a straight-on shot to the face is more staggering, a shot to the side of the head strains blood vessels and nerve endings. When you make his head spin with that right cross, increased rotational forces stretch the vessels and endings, causing your opponent to lose consciousness. This is the 5th page after the introduction. Lesson 2 is how to kick in a door. For fuck's sake. Lesson 4 is legit just bondage. You know, for kids. Actually, yeah, modern kids probably need to know how to do that, actually. What is this book? Oh, I'm fucking coming for you. Okay, so like a week or 2 ago, I showed you guys the Superman handbook that I found at a thrift store. And at the end of the video, I saw that there was a Batman handbook. Now, I did not think that I was ever going to come across said handbook until I took a quick stop by my P.O. box. Thank you very much to whoever anonymously sent this book. Now let's get into some of the delicious tidbits. How to drive the Batmobile on 2 wheels. Now this is not specific to the Batmobile, but this just kind of seems to be how to ramp your car up on 2 wheels and drive that bitch. Oh, and it also teaches you how to jump a fucking bridge. There are 4 pages dedicated to disarming an active gunman. A couple more very important lessons for the children of today. This is one of the best faces that Batman has ever made, and no, I will not be taking any questions. How to determine the cause and time of death. Apparently the entirety of a CSI's job can be broken down into 9 steps. You know, for kids. You know, for kids. And there's just so much more. Part 2 coming soon. I promised y'all a part 2, so here it is. The Batman Handbook Part 2. Also, pretty good rule to follow. If I ever say the word Batmobile, I mean car. It's just talking about anybody's just fucking sedan. With that in mind, how to bulletproof your Batmobile, along with a couple nifty gadgets to help you stop crime. Child soldiers for dummies. Is this how to train a sidekick or how to train a sub? Apparently child soldiers have cons. Somehow one of those cons isn't you might get one or all of those kids fucking killed. Is this how to train a sidekick or how to train a sub? Okay, come on, they knew what they were doing. Relax your legs so that gravity will allow you to begin sliding down the pole. Come on! Score. Great. This keeps happening to me. I was wondering how to stop it. Also, step 1 is legit just avoid seduction. You know, for kids. I'm not sure I should be taking advice on how to conquer my phobias by the guy dressed as his fucking phobia. Oh, and I'm sorry, if you have these 10 phobias, you can officially not be Batman. And my absolute favorite tip, stay out of places with names like Crime Alley. Seems about right. So, I don't usually do this, and for good reason, but I want to take a moment and talk about a video game. I don't usually do this because, for those of you who aren't aware, I go to college to learn how to make video games, and I like to keep that world and this world kind of separated. I also don't want to fuck up any possibilities of getting employed in the future. However, this game has a really near and dear spot to my heart, and I have a personal attachment to it, and I think more people should play it. And before you ask, no, I did not work on this game. I hope to work on games like it in the future, but no, I did not work on this game. However, one of my professors did. And right now you're probably wondering how this has anything to do with the comic book content that I usually make. Well, the game that I am talking about goes by the name of Gotham City Impostors, and my personal connection to it is that my life drawing professor actually was the art director on this game. This game is genuinely really fun. It's like TF2, but for comic book nerds. The concept is really simple, but actually really funny. Remember that scene in The Dark Knight, the I'm not wearing hockey pads scene? These are the hockey pads guys. They fight these dudes who are basically just a group of Walmart jokers, and then the whole game is just a bunch of different modes of these two groups trying to fucking kill each other. You get to customize your own individual member of each gang, it's awesome. I just found out that this game is free to play on Steam, so go check it out, it's awesome. It's a hidden gem that no one really talks about. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you here. I'm half making this to bring attention to a game that nobody really talks about, that somebody that I really admire worked on, and I'm half bringing attention to it because I want people to play with the lobbies are fucking empty right now. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this month. I just want to take a moment and thank all of my supporters over on Patreon, but most especially my top tier golden patrons. Joseph McMurray, Aria, Dragon Fang, Magu, Anna Sauls, Cassie Pace, Diandra, Fancy Man, Gas Boss, Gate Light Girl Keep, Grandma Raven 260, Jenny Chanti, Kat Stevens, Christina Odd, Pandora A, Tarara, The Rider of Darkness, Victor Viral, and Virgil. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.